Hello, my name is Tom Bohinc. I'm the founder of something called the Prometheus Project. Let me tell you a little bit about the origin story of where we are today. There's 3 points of experience that set up the introduction to this Prometheus Project and the leadership framework. One is a conversation that I had with an executive client, a CEO who had just launched his veterinary products company. And in a debrief we had, I asked what was one thing that would be helpful to him in his leadership development. Being an engineer and an entrepreneur, he asked, I'd like a digestible schematic that keeps me focused on the whole of what leadership is. Second experience I had is really just the general experience in the leadership ecosphere. There's an overwhelming amount of ideas and comments, publications, posts. There's just so much to sort through that it's difficult for us to do this as practitioners, as experts, as people who are focused full time. So it's impossible for our constituents, the people that we are supposed to be serving. We have to, as an industry, as a profession, come together to provide something cohesive and digestible and still useful and generalizable for our constituency. Third part of my origin story is really 2 things that happened at the same time. One was the choice I made to reread Robert Fritz's book on system structures. And the second was to accept an invitation to the Conscious Capitalism Conference in Barcelona in July of 2018. One of the things that struck me at the conference was the extraordinary talent and wisdom and intelligence and energy and passion that goes into building our leaders and our organizations and our whole world. And yet the result isn't yet what we'd expect. So would more effort create the result finally, or is there something that we can do so that the flow would be easier and more natural and the results would be more readily attained? This idea of opening the flow of leadership and leadership development further tied directly into Fritz's idea that structure determines flow, and that if we want to change the flow with direction or the flow pace or efficiency or effectiveness, we have to think about what the structure is that's causing the flow currently and what might be changed in the structure. So it occurred to me that the essential question was, what was it about the structure of the leadership industry that could change, that would open the flow of leadership and leadership development? That existential question about opening the flow of leadership and leadership development and what the underlying structural opportunities might be stuck with me after the conference, and ultimately it gave birth to the idea of what we've now called the Prometheus Project.